ために最も必要なもの、それは運です。
Hey everybody, and welcome in for another edition of the Project WEBTOON's podcast, episode 20 coming at you here. I know it's been a little bit, but of course I'm back. It's me, your big man, it's Sleepy. And as always, my co-host here, my one and only.
This is Arc Dragoon.
Yep. We're short one other co-host right now. We'll get back up full running here, but yeah, I'm just glad to finally be back on here. I've had a few little breaks there. I know I put a few other things up to keep some content going, but as you can tell, there's been a background switch here. Had a little bit of a change up, so yeah, but we're back at it, and we're coming as always with some of the latest webtoons and the newest chapters. Of course, we're going to be reviewing Out Always in the Gate with Gotta Highschool, Inso's Law, Beginning After the End, a returning one that's finally started back up for both of us, Let's Play, Lore Olympus, Mookhyang Dark Yeti, Peerless Dad, and many more. But yeah, but before we jump into all of that, as always, I want to say to definitely like and subscribe if you haven't already, so you can definitely be updated of the latest content. Please always leave comments as well for anything that we discuss or any comments that you have on any other series out there that you might want to hear about. But Ark, how you been? I know it's been what, 3 weeks?
You know what's going on.
3-4 weeks.
I still got broken feet.
You still got broken fins? You can't swim as well?
Yeah.
It's been a while since that occurred. They might have healed up. You might have used some of your chi. Come on. We read all these cultivating books. You haven't figured out any cultivating techniques to make that go faster?
I'm like what is it? The fist demon of Mount Hua. Like,
both your feet stuck. So what you're saying is you have one very powerful fist that you use.
One good punch.
Just one punch, and that's all you need to win the day.
Yes, that's all that is.
That sounds awful. Don't trip. That's all I can say. Don't trip. But yeah. I don't know about you, but I definitely read pretty quickly through all of Let's Play, and I know I bought all of the current chapters, or all of the fast passes for it. Same for Lore Olympus, so I know I'm up ahead with those current runs right now. But great news is that I know you found at least now I don't want to say competent, but a readable version of Inso's Law.
I mean, it's much more readable.
I was pretty close to just saying, all right, I'm done with this series for now, because I can't stand how bad the translation was.
I mean, the translations, it was like whoever was uploading it was like, these are the lightest scans, and they're like, let me just Google translate everything out. So that's yeah.
This is how I'll drive traffic to my site. I'll be the first to put it up, but I'm not gonna proofread any of this. It's just whatever Google spit out is the best way to say these. Yeah, yep. But yeah, let's I think we can go ahead and jump into some of the first reviews that we've got going on here. And I know that it has been since it's been more than a few weeks, we have piled up quite a few chapters to cover. So I don't know about you, but I'm thinking maybe we go through at least maybe a quick one shot for each one of the chapters just to get everything caught up. Is that all right, or do you just want to jump right to like the meaty stuff on everything that's occurred?
No, I mean whatever.
I mean, you always end up interrupting and just going, well, just get to the point of what we want to hear, the big thing. Yeah, see, yeah, okay. Well, I'll start off with the one that I know that is your favorite. How about we start off with the Gotta Highschool?
Okay, I'm not the other guy, so.
so your level of excitement isn't high only to be diminished?
It's
okay.
So since the last time we talked about it and now, there was like what, 4 or 5 chapters, especially
there's
talking about right now. So the 5th chapter just came out, and I just read that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So the chapter we left off on, the very end panel is Ryung getting beaten by Dai-Wei. That was the last of what we left off before our break.
No, Dai-Wei actually beats Ryung.
Yeah, no, it was Ryung getting beaten by Dai-Wei.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what I said.
So we left it there, and then like what happens is all the questions I raised before kind of just happens again. Where I'm like, okay, so we could have just done this, like you could have just taken care of this before, yes, but you didn't. No, like Mookhyang Park just shows up and he's like, oh, I could have just dealt with this personally, and not even like really lifting a finger, like, but he didn't. It's so perplexing for Mookhyang Park to have like this mentality and be like, if like his mentality is like, if you want something done, do it yourself, but at the same time, like he doesn't do it himself.
He went through the whole thing of just, I'll let the peasants do it for me because I don't care. Because it's pointless.
Because it's not that he doesn't care, because like he literally is like, because if he didn't care, then he wouldn't have showed up to like kill all of the agents, right? Because he was like, oh, let me give you my
first it was respect for them because they have a personal connection. But then with the others, it's like, why do you even show up? It's like you could have just sent your tools to do this for you and just been done with it at the end of the day.
I feel like Mookhyang Park has a poor like priority as to like where he assigns his minion. Like I'm like, you could have assigned your minions to go deal with.
That's the thing I've been wondering though. Is he the one assigning them? Because they seem to be doing a lot of just whatever they want.
Yes, that also bothers me because I was like, what? Who in their right mind who has this much power just allows his minions to do things that he was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you guys anyway because I don't like you, but I'm not in any way going to command you to do things.
You'll just do them as I need them, I guess. You know. I don't know. It's
especially since the only one out of the 4 guardians that like had an like right now, besides the masked guy who I feel like I know who it is, but whatever. Okay, so we have 4 guardians. The only guardian that had like a real personal stake. And like even then that's a thin personal stake was Ryung, okay? Yes. So the other 3 we have no background on because Bamto and the deer don't really like I don't care about their backgrounds and it's not necessary for like whatever their background is. Fine, sure.
I mean, yeah.
The only character that's like very hinting at who the mask guy is because they're like, oh, he feels like the monkey, and I was like, "Are we doing another clone? Is this what we're doing?" Because I'm gonna tell you this: we did this already, and this is gonna be the 3rd motherfucking time. Or is he the guy who didn't die last time? Because I'm gonna tell you, we've done this already. Why are we doing this again?
Everybody who we think is dead is actually not dead. That's all it is. I mean, yeah, I figured it's the other clone. It's just the clone didn't, because I mean the clone didn't die.
No, he didn't die.
So it's just the other clone.
That's the part here that doesn't make any fucking sense. Because I'm just like, okay. So we already did this once. Yes, we had an entire clone arc. Yes. Then we did it again. Yes. But now the clone is against me. That's how it was changed. Before the clone was me helping out, but now this is the clone that's against me because it doesn't like the fact that it's a clone. We don't even know if it's a clone or not.
Well, we know that he was a clone not created by the Monkey King himself, but by Park. It was done through science. So that's how that worked.
Yes, but like again, that's guys, we've already had a clone saga once. I really don't need a clone saga again. And then like,
but it was so good.
Like, why?
Clone sagas are so good. You see them everywhere. Spider-Man has a clone saga. Star
And then
Wars
we
had a
have-
clone saga.
and then Ryung is dead, but he's like not dead. Like he's dead, right? Yeah, but he's not dead.
I
what do you mean
mean-
he's not dead? we're just going to puppetry his body around and then like throw his skeleton into things because apparently that's how that works, right? You use his bones as the yaoi, right? Like,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
all the yaoi are bones, so
Yes, but like this is not like the other yaoi, which they are actually yaoi. No, this is like I'm just puppetry his dead body around.
I picked a random bone and now that one's the yaoi. I mean, there's no specialty to it. I just grabbed one.
I was like, when was this a thing that you could just?
I mean,
dragons
okay.
around?
You had to have guessed that they were gonna do the more random, weird puppetry right after what's his name? After R appeared again.
Yes,
I figured that. Oh, okay. So people that might be dead, who we've like just accepted that, could now not be dead, and they're just gonna be agents that will show back up again. So it's totally plausible because it happened once.
Oh.
I mean, you have to admit that a lot of the writing is so all over the place that it leaves the creator just open to basically have anything occur at this moment.
Yeah, but it's not anything that occurs that like it makes sense. Though.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's not things that make sense because it's all over the place. Just as much of the insanity that's occurring is like all possibilities are now likely because all things have kind of occurred. Characters that should have been dead have now reappeared. Characters that even characters that are not dying or characters that are reincarnated are now reappearing that were supposedly gone. You know, people now can just be puppeted after they're dead. They can just, like.
Even though the spirit of Gaia has died and given authority to Mookhyang Park, apparently I can still channel like god powers and channel the spirit of Gaia to try to prevent Earth from turning.
Okay, it wasn't Gaia. She was channeling the spirit of the previous descendant, the previous descendant.
Again, that was so just like out there that I was like, okay, I thought why are we doing this?
Because we need to give those other characters we know are alive something to do. And
no, just ignore them because you know why? There's so many characters on the board now because we're like, oh guys, like what's his name? The kid that can see the future.
He's not Park. I know who you're talking about though. It's not Jen.
We're like, oh, he died, right? Mookhyang Park killed him, right? No, apparently Mookhyang Park is real bad at his fucking job or something. And he's like, oh, he didn't die because he's like, and I was like, what?
I mean,
how did he not die? I thought Mookhyang Park killed them all. No, he didn't. Then I'm going to tell you this. Mookhyang Park is real bad at his fucking job.
I mean, you've seen that he's been bad at his job. Every time he's gone to supposedly just kill everybody, one person lives long enough to like fight him down, even though he could kill any of them all the way down at any second, but he chooses to like give them the like weakest like shot for some reason. Like when he makes the comment out loud in the fight with Dai that, oh, his body is just broken right now. He can hardly use his power. Dai even confirms and says, I've got like 6 punches left and that's all I can do. And he just opens up by just pushing Ultra Touch like, I'm done. And it's like, just use all the power you need to just squash this, right?
It's not even all the power. He's not even trying is the problem.
Well, that's what I mean.
So then I'm just like, okay. If you're not even trying, then like, why are you even trying here? Why do you expect to even win? Like, I like, because now it feels like all it's doing is like Mookhyang Park is like aware that he's in a webtoon and he's just dragging it out.
Maybe that's the whole thing. The whole thing is to lead to the new world. He's trying to get out of the book.
Because like it's, I'm not asking. I know that villains do this thing all the time.
Well, yes, this is super cliche.
But the problem here is like you can only do cliche for so long whether you start questioning their competency and then you're like, okay. I can understand Mookhyang Park, sure, giving a chance to all the humans who reached that in the first place. Be like, hey, do you guys want to die quickly or do you guys want to do it the hard way, right? Like, and fine, I get it. All right, you want that was perfectly fine because there was an actual connection between him and all of the agents that showed up. Cool, I get it. All right, but everyone else, I don't understand
why he's giving them the same deal.
Yeah, like even with W.E.B.T.O.O.N, because he literally like, oh, I hate you, W.E.B.T.O.O.N, like, and I was like, oh, if you do, then won't you just kill him now? Just do it now. Oh no, I gave him the chance to see how far he could go. Anyways, what?
I think your main problem is that this is mostly just character assassination.
Yes,
like, he just really we just don't know anything about Moobon Park at this point anymore. It's just super far beyond what we've been established with for most of the story. So that's kind of what this is. Not to mention he is straight up playing like villain trope cliche all the way here because of what happens at the end of the current chapter, which is exactly what you called it was trying to be. And that's what I said. It was all just a stall tactic, even by the villain, for the fact that he literally starts monologuing before this happens.
It's all a stall tactic just to get to the point where it feels like it's just to get to the point where it feels like it's the most desperate point. But I'm like, we already got to that point because it's not like anything from like these last 5 chapters have made it like it was not at that point. And
they just prolonged the desperation point instead.
Yeah, and that's the part that like I feel like it's unnecessary. It was so much filler here. It's 5 chapters worth of stuff that I'm like, we could just skip this part. Like you could have.
You could have totally had these parts, but these are all like, this could all be sequential parts of maybe 1 or 2 chapter of like just getting all of this fit in really, because most of it's just really just prolonged fights, inevitable to get to Moobon Park to come out. That's all it was.
Yeah, the only
and
part
even then,
absolutely like necessary. Not even like this part, like the events that leading up to this is like, oh, W.E.B.T.O.O.N and Mira going to go fight against Moobon Park. We could have just got to the part where both Mira and W.E.B.T.O.O.N fight against Moobon Park, and that moment still could have just encompassed where we are right now, and it still had been just as much tension. I didn't need to see them fight against the minions for no reason, and they don't win against the minions either, though. And that why? Or just so we can see like Mori show up and be like, oh, I can beat the minions. But I'm like, but why? We could just have Mori show up and fight against Moobon Park, and that still proves the same exact point.
Yeah. But too many characters on the board that we need to have something to do.
And then we have the part where, because there's so many characters on the board, I'm gonna say this. I'm not saying like I don't appreciate fight scenes, but it feels like it feels so sloppy. Like I'm like, okay, I'm trying to keep track and imagine like what is actually happening in these fights. But there's one character throws a punch and then like it moves to another, like you're like, okay, this is really fucking messy. Okay, I would just like just show me stupid shit like Dragon Ball Z fists that like you know, like when they're punching each other, you see multiple fists. I would at least understand what's going on there. But here it's like everything is so breakneck from like panel to panel that I'm like, this is really hard to just understand what is actually going on for me to process. Like, let me try to imagine this scene out. And then I'm like, oh, is this one of those things where I'm like, this is unfortunately would look better if it was actually animated?
Probably.
So at least like, you could slow it down a bit and let me know what is actually happening in the fight instead of me like half-ass guessing what happens between the panels, because I don't understand part of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the part when the Jin clone, or the masked character, like when did they all gain authority to use these weapons?
To use Tabata's ability or his weapons?
Yes. I was like, wait, when was this? Why did he just? Okay, are you saying that he gave them these weapons? Because it does not look like he gives them permission to do anything at all. Do you understand this?
I'm amazed that didn't end with him getting pissed. Like, why'd you touch my shit?
Yeah, right?
If you're gonna lose, die. That's what I want you to do. I'll take care of this anyway.
That's why I was like, wait, when did if you can at least say Mookhyang Park was like, oh, here, use my weapons to beat them quick, like just finish them off now. Like then I'm like, oh, I understand what's happening there. But no, it was like the deer was just like, now I have the bell, and I was like, wait, how? When? I'm so confused. Why would Mookhyang Park give you that bell?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Mookhyang Park was fighting against W.E.B.T.O.O.N, and he was using the dagger.
Oh yeah, the Mandela.
But then suddenly the masked character has it now, and I was like, okay, when did this transfer happen? I'm so confused, guys.
Don't worry. We'll get a chapter back that'll explain that in between. All right.
Oh.
So after that massive tirade, all of that, so the final chapter does end with, as we all knew and were waiting for, Morijin showing up and basically just breaking everything for Mookhyang Park in his final hour as he completes his final thing or whatever that he needs to do right now. So
are we going to end up being something really stupid where it's like one or two things? Is like either one, the prophecy was false in the first place, or two, that the prophecy was never meant about him.
It was about Mori this entire time. I instantly said that, and I was like, oh, please don't let this be what I think that is. I gotta ask another friend, JC, about this one and see what he says, because I know how much tropes hurt him. Oh boy.
That's the only way I see this going, right? Or am I wrong?
I feel like if I could see we have fast pass for it, but if I could see them say like the finale of this is coming up, like the next one, I would totally buy that. I probably will buy that and then send it to you and be like, I need you to react to this right now. I have to capture all of that. So look forward to that coming.
Because if it's not one of those two options, then like it ends up being that means Mookhyang Park wins, right? Like that's the only way this works. It's either Mookhyang Park wins, so that way the prophecy is true, or like it's not true, and then it's the one of the two other options, and then what are you gonna do? Like,
it's okay.
I'm so confused.
It's okay. It's all a fever dream from his new kid.
Because like the red wing and all this stuff, I see was there. Like I was like, oh, I totally forgot how that prophecy went, and I was like, because it's so stupidly mentioned because it could have been mentioned way longer ago. Okay, like
well, it wasn't. It literally wasn't mentioned until this season, and even then, it wasn't until way after a bunch of other stuff already occurred.
Yeah,
so
it could have been mentioned in season 2, like
I
feel like there was like when they first meet the descendant of Gaia, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's her name, right?
Zhangji.
Yeah, right? Because it's not like she didn't know about the prophecy. So if she said something about the prophecy, I'd be like, oh, cool. This is a good setup, right? Or at least it's a setup, all right? But we didn't get that, all right? This is just a mention now that it was like, oh, so this is just information that you guys just withheld from us.
I forget even how the prophecy came to be at this moment. Like, I don't even know if it was...
No. It was apparently given by Gaia as she was lying dead there, because that's the way that Mookhyang Park says it, right? Because he's like,
so Gaia gave it to the gods that came and killed her, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's exactly what that scene is, right? Where Mookhyang Park is reminiscing about like what happened to Gaia when the gods killed her, and then he talks about the prophecy, and it looks like it's coming from her mouth or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool, but.
It's great that she gave a prophecy to her
Morijin, the Monkey King, wearing red is kind of like his thing, right? So is that where his fur is like this reddish fur, right? Or is that where we're going with this? Because
we'll have to give it time. We'll have to give it time and see. All right. I think we're good on this one because I'm sure there are more than going to be a few comments where people will be like, "What? Why? What's so wrong?" And as always, as I say, if you can defend any of this, please hit us in the comments with that. We would love to hear some input back and forth between that one. Let's go ahead and move on to our next one though, before we run the whole night with this. How about we start up with actually one that just finished or it's taking a small break. How about beginning after the end? Since I know this is one you're not reading, at least not in the light novel form.
The beginning after the end.
So where we left off, granted we don't have to go all the way that far back, but we left off. Arthur and Tess had their little moment. Tess confessed. Arthur gave his answer back to her, and we got Arthur on night patrol, and also Arthur being attacked by one of the other students who had these glowing letters on his back, and that student ended up dying.
Yes.
From whatever this was.
I think we left it off of where they were they're the student council, right? No, they're not the student council.
They're not the student council. Tess is a part of the student council. She's the head. They're the disciplinary squad.
Yeah, the disciplinary squad are like roaming around doing.
They're basically doing patrols around the school campus.
And they're like, this guy is suspicious. I'm gonna chase him. And then, oh wait, this other disciplinary dude shows up. He's like, no, don't worry. Well,
he wondered why he was in his sector. Like, why are you patrolling in my area? Shouldn't you be working around yours? And he goes, I saw someone suspicious and I didn't.
Your battle buddy got hurt, so you got to go back. And he's like, oh, my battle buddy got hurt.
Yeah.
It's not suspicious at all that this guy just randomly shows up now, and they just randomly tells me that my battle buddy got hurt, and then my battle buddy tells me, oh,
well, he didn't tell him he got hurt. He came there questioning him, and then both of their like weapons started glowing, which is one of the signals that they can send each other, and that gave them the alert that he needed to go find his partner, and that's when his partner told him that he got hurt.
I got bumped, but then don't worry, I was able to graze him. It was his hand, and then he remembers back to the guy, and I was like, is it so hard to just know who's the traitor here?
Well, I'm glad that you instantly went with the traitor, just the traitor.
He's not the traitor, but he's just some shifty ass.
He's
dude.
just shifty as hell.
I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I was wrong, but I'm just going to say this. Why is he shifty then?
It's just his demeanor. He can't help it. Let it be. Yeah, so, yeah, I instantly had my suspicions after I saw him and the way that whole scene played out. So, just a theory of exactly what's going to come to pass later on with him. But moving beyond that, school continues to resume with Arthur, with him also being pretty much here and there in class. He's not entirely paying attention. That's mostly because after finding out the news that the one student died, and then on top of that, Good Sky speaking to him once before, and him clearly being able to figure out that she's like not telling him some stuff. But later on, at the end of the, I think it's 111 or it's either 109 or 111, but Good Sky shows up and she's beaten the fuck up.
Yeah.
And she just rolls it off as she stopped somewhere to have a sparring match and things kind of got out of hand. But
she was like, no, don't worry, I fell down the stairs. I fell down the stairs. Like, that's basically how that went, right?
More or less. Like, I stopped to do a spar. What's so wrong with doing that? I'm like, most people would, clean themselves up after a spar, maybe to like not look like they were just mugged or in kind of a situation, but she just kind of rolled in the room like, what's up?
Don't worry. I know I'm bleeding, but it's just a flesh wound.
It's just a flesh wound. She's secretly the Black Knight. Yeah. Yeah, so Good Sky does. What's up?
Miss Principal, I would say this as a figure of authority. It doesn't feel very secure that you would show up bloody. You could have just gone to your room first and cleaned up. It's not that hard. Nah, I wanted to show up injured.
Injured in front of my two students, one of my two favorite students, one being my disciple, and another one being on the school's the school security campus. And me, the strongest person here, looked fucked up.
I definitely know what is going on, but I'm not going to let him know anything. I'm just going to hit real hard. Okay, just read my mind.
Like, I don't know. It was like the worst. Like, I'm clearly hiding something mystery. Also, this may be connected to the weird shit going on. Wink, wink, wink. Okay, let me head back out though. Bye. They could have just like made a circle around her and just wrote a line that said plot. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so we don't really get much information from Good Sky about what's happened to her outside of what she told Arthur. From there, Arthur heads back to another class. Basically, the one he's teaching. None of the students at all get the lesson that he was trying to teach. But it does lead from there to, is it the meeting with the disciplinary squad first? Or I think it's a meeting, it cuts off to a meeting with the Lances next, right?
I think so.
Okay, so the meeting with the Lances floats up. We meet the two that we've already known that Arthur is shadowed, but a third Lance appears, and I believe she's either the leader, if I'm correct.
No, I don't think
they gave her name, but they didn't give rank. They haven't actually stated like ranks or anything. But the way that she was more or less commanding the room, she tells a little bit of information about the dungeons and some of the creatures, and she basically gives the one lady or the one chick the mission of more or less doing reconnaissance in there. Another group of friends basically called that a death flag for this character right away. Like, she's gonna get killed here, or she's gonna be injured to the point of dying after she returns and gives the whatever information she finds.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, calling death flags for some characters already. That's always fun. But right after that, we move over to the disciplinary squad, basically having their own meeting, and they're coming up with, they're more or less getting volunteers for more patrols because of this.
Guys, there's going to be a break coming up, it's like Golden Week, guys. But
oh yeah,
we need more. We need
you to pull some extra security details, more or less, not just the standard ones you guys normally would do. Yeah,
we could totally do this, and especially that one shady guy.
The one shady guy with the wire ability that I want to know about, and I can't at all sense the wires.
Hey, what's your ability? I'm not going to tell you.
Or I would tell you, but you'll die.
I'm just going to tell you this. For a group of like security, for us to not know each other's abilities seems like a real suspicious thing. Why? Because I'm just going to tell you, how would I ever know to trust you?
Oh, I mean, it is you, Ark. You would be sus of everybody in the group, even if they did tell you stuff. So what are you saying?
Yeah, but at least if you told me what your ability was, I could like plan around it. Like, oh guys, this is his ability, so that, if we get into a team fight, I know how not to like trip on his fucking wire and die. No?
No.
I feel like that seems like an important thing.
Yeah, we haven't really built that teamwork synergy thing in this group, as you can tell. So yeah.
So this part I have a problem with, because I'm like, wasn't he like king and like a warrior? Not like it was like a military thing beforehand. Yeah. So he has like no military experience, because I'm pretty sure he should have military experience. Does he not just have like not
Arthur?
have any? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was a king.
Yeah.
He did fight.
Oh, yes, with like no military experience, because I would tell you, military experience says, hey, we should know our like our strengths and weaknesses amongst each other, guys.
I mean, Arthur does seem to be taking his he's not taking it to the head of his role. I mean, he knows his station. He's still a kid. He's a first year to most of the other disciplinary committee members who are all higher level years than he is. And, you know, he's not trying to take command of everything he's doing. I'm sure if he was the leader, he would probably say that. But, you know, if you know, the actual commander of the disciplinary squad, you know, basically is like, yeah, no, don't, you know, you guys don't need to be doing this, he's not going to question it. So this is definitely a weird situation of knowledge and experience, of a knowledge and experience that should overshadow, you know, just simple social bullshit. But at the same time, it doesn't also fit Arthur's character, because he hasn't done that before. Yeah, you gotta go with that. But so
he's an actual adventurer who like went out and it was like what, a couple years worth of like knowledge working with a partner, and like at no point does he like apply that knowledge here too, though.
He is trying to keep under the fact that he's an adventurer, for one. I mean, Arthur is pretty much de-skilling himself to go to school.
Yeah, but like there's a difference between like trying to hide it and just be like, hey boss, you know, it might be a good idea to just like know each other's skills for like when we fight, so we don't, you know, die to each other's skills. You know what? That sounds like a great idea.
It would be a helpful plan. I mean, out of all of them, he's the only one that hasn't been pretty quick to display his skills, I would say, out of most of it. Everyone else is usually throwing something or having a sparring match in the middle of somewhere, so it's not surprising.
I just have a little bit of a problem here with his level of competency, where like he's smart beforehand, okay? I just don't understand why he's just like not here.
You and another person would have a lovely discussion then with that, because they brought up something about not just Arthur's but the entire continent's level of intelligence.
No, I could talk about that too, okay?
Let's
like,
not do it.
but just focusing on the story, just primarily a story where like Arthur is actually supposed to be smart with a whole lifetime's worth of experience already, okay? And then let's just go with Sleepy here saying where like, oh yeah, that wasn't like him before. Okay, cool. But there was we had a whole training arc, that like training montage him where he was like adventuring for like 2 years or so, and then like we just come back and like he just never learned a thing here or something. I'm confused.
It's not to say that he spent the entire time training with one partner to learn how to work solely as a duo teammate. Most of the experience, he said here, was more or less just to get used to dealing with his more or less his hand-to-hand skills, and not relying on just solely his mana and abilities all across the board. So he was training a different set of skills here. And even when he was on an adventurous party, yeah, they all told him and informed him of like what unique abilities they had, but the difference between being that and like adventurer squad and disciplinary team. One's, you know, adults and relying on each other in a dangerous situation. Another one is roaming school halls. You know, you see where the level of danger would probably be different.
You're breaking up really badly.
Okay, yeah. But I just saying, like, the difference between like what he was doing as an adventurer to what this task actually requires of him, and the difference of people he has here.
Yes, but there's a sense of urgency because he knows that there are people who are like gaining weird magic, dying shit, and I'm just saying. He
knows that now, but it's tough to say. And the way that he even asked that, like trying to learn about the other kids' skills, wasn't exactly in a manner that, you know, seemed like it was trying to be beneficial, as much as he's like, I feel very suspicious about the abilities you use. Tell me about them. So yeah.
You know, it wasn't just as suspicious like, hey, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Well,
Like,
and that's what I'm saying.
Did we have to go here too, guys?
I mean, it just goes to show you, even if Arthur were to use the intelligent thing, it doesn't mean that the person he's trying to use it on is going to reciprocate back intelligently. Most of the time, they're probably going to just act very aggressive, especially with this group of individuals. That's the only thing I'm trying to say there, at least on that part. But okay, I wanted to get to the last part that happened within the chapter, and that was the spar between Elijah and Arthur. We know that Art is talking to Elijah and basically trying to more or less figure out why he learned magic, and of course he starts to berate him and state that, you know, he only learned magic to impress women, and he advises him like, hey, why don't you learn some hand-to-hand skills, or at least sword play, because you shouldn't only know one kind of unique moveset. And he's actually impressed the way that Elijah is able to handle the sword, because he clearly has good footwork. He's done some of this before, but he hasn't perfected it anyway, because at the end of the vow, Arthur basically smacks him on the ass and Elijah falls flat on his face. But the big thing that occurs is that as he's going to help Elijah up, he sees a shimmer behind him and an image of someone, and then he starts just his head starts pounding, and you see the words like betrayal, anger, like deceit, all these words, just negative words, like flash across the screen, and his head just beats in pain. And Arthur tries to tell him, like, you know, should I take you to the doctor? And he goes, no, I'm gonna go back to our room and sleep it off.
Backstory we just haven't heard of yet, so
that's the thing, though. Well, we know a few things only about Elijah. We know that one, he is not a dwarf, but he was dropped off at the Dwarven Kingdom, and two, he has no knowledge of his history prior to that point. He does not remember. Now, I figured that, yeah, it's some hidden bout of backstory that we don't know about. Everyone in chat, everyone in comments I've seen, including the previous podcast I was in, says the shimmer, the image behind him is King Gray, and that Elijah is another person like Art that has isekai'd or reincarnated into this world from his world.
I guess.
I don't see like a deep connection as to how that was true. Even listening to the other team, I'm like, I don't know how those dots actually connect. Even using the whole idea of, oh, he has amnesia and he doesn't remember anything, and I'm like, okay, that would make sense if Arthur had the same thing when he did it, but he didn't. He completely remembered everything about his previous life.
I guess.
Like, there'd be something else that would trigger that. And then also he's directly someone that knows Arthur as well as was their other connection. Like, he is someone, like the fact that they became friends pretty quickly and things like that. And I'm like, I don't see how that adds up to he's possibly someone from that world. I'm like, I would figure.
We don't know that. We don't know that. He could be from another world.
Well, the other thing is that a lot of other thing is that they didn't carry on that speculation, but the other idea was that he's actually he's a person from the other continent. And he's an ops. Yeah. And I figured, I'm like, okay, that seems more believable that, you know, okay, he doesn't have any memories. Okay, well, we don't know anything about their technology, but the prevailing opinion has been is that their technology might be more advanced than they're currently at on our homeland. And they send this kid that they basically just brain wipe and put him over there knowing that, you know, they won't just instantly kill him. So I'm like, that would probably make way more sense than it would than the other version. But I couldn't refute entirely the idea that, like, yes, okay, he's also a person that's reincarnated and might know Gray, but I'm like, I don't entirely agree with that theory, though. I didn't know if you had any thoughts. Like, did you think that was Gray when you saw it from Elijah?
I don't know.
You don't know. Was there is just not enough information for you to form
There's
any kind of
literally not
opinion?
enough information. It's backstory stuff. We'll get to it. It's fine.
I mean, we will. Yeah. But yeah, I actually tried to find the light novel chapter that talks about this to see if maybe there was a description that said anything specifically, but I couldn't locate it in my search. So we'll have to see going forward. After the end of this chapter, there is going to be a small hiatus, a couple of weeks, to let the artist recover. He did have some medical issues not too long ago, and we thought that there was going to be a break in a chapter sooner rather than what it is now, but I was expecting it at some point, so we are at that point now. So we won't have at least another chapter, I believe, until next month, I believe.
Yeah,
is what it said.
Yeah.
So totally cool.
Depending on who also picks up the translations again too, you know. That's
well, no, I mean all the translations I'm grabbing are from the site. I just get it from them.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, like, whenever they pick it up.
Well, know. Yeah. So we'll be patient and waiting for that. Well, hopefully the artist starts to recover and feels better. I know that it was man, what is up? All of these artists that are doing these webtoons, a lot of the big ones here, when they got sick, all of them were getting cancer. Like, I mean, so many of them.
It's fine. I blame Peter. It's fine.
His powers are just flying randomly now. Their stand powers are attacking the innocent. Oh no, that's not good. All right, let's go ahead and let's move on to our next one here. Since holy crap, we've only been in two. We'll start off next one here with Inso's Law. I'm gonna let you take this one since you are fully caught up.
Okay, so we have Inso's Law. This is after everything has happened. We have it where...
What's everything that's happened?
Everything that's happened, as in, like, after the rumors that went around, they've kind of stopped. Not really. Like, the class the class, even though they were, you know, fully along with the rumors, have not admit any fault at all. I mean,
they're not going to. Come on.
Yeah. But you know, our main character here is like, it's fine, guys, because she's fully aware that she's the side character. You know, she thinks she's a side character.
She still thinks she's the side character.
I am going to be the target anyways, regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
Right. So then, but then, you know, like, all the characters around her, all her friends and stuff, get mad on her part.
Yeah.
Then we have it where, you know, to like, oh, guys, to kind of like ease over everything, they're going to try to do a courage test, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we'll hold a courage test, and so they're in the plans of doing that when our main character is like, I really don't want to do this because as the side character, as a side character who's best friends to the main character, shit's gonna happen if I am around the main character. Because
I will get screwed.
Things are always too scary.
I will get screwed by this.
Yeah, so she's just like, I want to avoid this. So, and then the pretty boy with the gray hair, what's his name?
Junon is little dude. I know who you're talking about. He's the one that actually like straight out confessed, but she didn't buy it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know, he's sick with a cold or something. So she goes to go visit him because she's like, if I catch the cold, then I can just skip.
My plan is to sicken myself.
I don't know. So that she goes and tries to visit him, but along the way she finds that he's like talking to a older woman, he's like, I don't want you here, and also the cute kid, the one that's like, oh, I'm innocent, but I'm not really innocent.
Oh, Junon? Yeah, the secret hacker.
Yeah. So we find out that this is like Jun's like mom, his stepmom.
Okay. And
at some point, it's revealed that Jun's always been like smart, right? So his mom like used him as like to like gamble money basically, and as such, you know, his upbringing was really bad until like everything was brought to light, and she was like going into prison, and when she was like during their trial, like she like yelled at him for being like not human basically.
Okay.
And so that's why like that's his chip on the shoulder, where he's kind of like, yeah, like up until mom showed up.
This is why he adopts Dan I as his mom. That's why he adopts her as his mom.
Yeah, because he's like, you're the only one who kind of like saw me not as that. He's kind of like saw more than that, right? And then we go and do the courage test, and if you don't know what a courage test, you know, they go through the school, and then
read any shoujo, you will find it.
People show up as ghosts and stuff, right? And then what happens is they come across, you know, like how like the trope is, they're like, oh guys, have you heard about the legends of the school?
The secret legend that if two people do this, they'll fall in love forever.
Yeah, so there's apparently a legend that Junai is like, he's like, hey, Danai, let me tell you that if we count the stairs going up, and then we go down these stairs, and they have a different number going down than going up, then we walked into a different world, right? And she's like, don't do that, because you know how much that scares me, right? And he's like, it's fine. It's obviously not real. They go up the stairs, 13 steps. They go down the stairs, 12. And they're like, nah, no, we must have just miscounted.
Joke.
And they go back up the stairs, 12. They're like, it's fine. See, we just miscounted. And then they realize, where is everybody? What? Wasn't this building like shut down and closed off? Yeah. How come there's electricity to the building now? We don't know. Well, let's keep going around. Maybe we'll find someone. Maybe we didn't accidentally really go to another world. Let's hope not. And then they go into a room, and then they hear that there's someone's like behind them, right? So then they hide in a locker, and as they hide in like this closet locker, right? Then like this guy, basically, Slenderman's cousin shows up and turns off the lights and then walks away. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to say this. Even if you're telling me that this is like part of the thing, that's really fucking creepy. Wait, is this part of the cliche later on? It's like, guys, it was just all part of the thing, and not really like, why would you do this to this girl who's like afraid of like being isekai'd again?
We've isekai'd into a horror story. Now I'm interested.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. You know how cool that would be if she isekai'd into a horror manga.
Where like before she was in a romance, and then now isekai'd.
Now she's isekai'd to in like a horrifying horror webtoon. That would be great.
But the interesting part is, if like they did isekai together, then like that means like other people can isekai together with her though.
Yes, she's the fluctuation point. She can pull others with her into different worlds.
Well, that's where we left off, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
It just broke you a little. You're like, this isn't what I was expecting or what I wanted. What's going on? Oh well, okay.
A faceless man to just show up and be like, oh, someone left the lights in this building that's not supposed to have power, and he just turns it off and walks away.
Arc, secretly she's isekai'd into an SCP.
Man, oh. But like, yeah, that's where that leaves off, and I'm just like, this. You know what? Inso's law is always just like, I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm just going to let you know.
That's at least a good change from the ability happening. Because I mean, before it was just always her, and it was usually just a completely random point, and then we've just had her like freaking out.
We don't know that yet. Okay.
We don't know that yet. But if it is, that makes things way more interesting.
Yeah. Yes. It could be one or the other. It could be like, oh guys, it was always just a joke, and I'm like, oh okay. Or it turns out to be like, oh no, we actually did isekai, and I'm like, oh okay, this. This is an interesting turn of events here. Okay.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And
try to call everyone else too, and they was like, oh, my contacts are gone. No one is contacting. It's like, oh, so we did isekai. Is this what actually did happen this time?
I mean, the fact of the matter of even her isekaiing with Jun-un, the one person who was like more willing and quick to believe that something was wrong when she said that, you know, she went to another world, because he made that entire flow chart about, you know, this unknown person that he.
Her, okay, I keep track of everything. No.
Mom never leaves my sight. Not truly. Yeah, he is a scary one, and I called that he was going to be the scary one. There's something off about it.
That's how that always works. They are the tropes, but the tropes are being like used differently. That's all it is.
Yes, just slightly bit differently. So, well, that's at least good for this one, for that one. I'm definitely need to catch up on and read those few chapters. But the good news is yeah, we were real close to wanting to drop that one, because the translations from the last like 10, well, now it would be like, it would be 10 chapters ago, but 15 or so were just awful. I could not. The whole part where you explaining where like when they were doing the courage test, I was trying to read that chapter, and it was just
trying to figure out what was going on.
It would, well, they would say courage, and then like the word test was missing, and you know, then like the next panel it was a completely different thing, and then the next panel they were like talking about the courage test again. I was like, I don't know what's going on. It was all over the place. It was just such a mess. So yeah. I'm happy that now either a new translator or new scanners or whoever's picked it up and is actually like properly proofreading and putting this out, we can keep going forward with it.
But it's much
better. It's better. I'm not going to be like, what, why, who, where are they going? Yeah, I was just so confused. It was like just frustrating the hell out of me. I was like, I don't even want to read this now, because it's just so badly put together right now. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, so we'll keep up and check up on Inso on the next run here, since it is still releasing pretty regularly. But we'll go and we'll move on into another webtoon right now. Let's start off with one. Let's actually go to the one that just started back up like 2 weeks ago, right? A week ago?
One?
Let's Play. Yes. A week ago, I think now? 2 weeks? Yeah, I think it's been a week since it started back up.
Chapter, so 2 weeks, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Then 3 weeks.
I think it's been 2 weeks. Because if it was 3 weeks, I would have been still on my trip, and I know it wasn't out yet. So yeah, I think it was 2 weeks. But either way, we've been waiting for the return for Let's Play for a while. I have been constantly like wondering when we'd see an update about that, and finally the premiere for the new season came out. And yeah, I quickly picked that up, and I looked for the fast pass for the other ones. It wasn't up yet, but a couple days later they were there, and I bought all of them. So yeah, where that ended though in the previous season with Samara and Charles.
Samara was like, hey, let's fuck. And Charles was like, what?
Well, Samara was like, hey, I'm ready to do some stuff. And Charles is just like, hold up. And yes, and it does basically play out that way. Charles does reject Samara. Well, at least reject, as he says, he's rejecting the proposition.
I want you to be sober so you can fully consent to this.
Yes. Oh, look at that. He's like, you are drunk. You do not know what's going on. I do not want to do this because of that reason. I do want to do the things you want to do, but not when you're like this. And not when it's your first time. And yeah, that whole bit, I was like, oh, good. Charles is not granted, he's never seemingly come off that he's not sketchy like that. But it does pick up the next day after, where she's remembering everything that occurs, and of course wakes up all nice and snuggled up to Charles, falling off the bed, and full on just embarrassment meter going off to the red. Yeah. But Charles, being as suave as he is, does like explain a little bit of like what happened, and then he does get right back into the mood for her. So Yeah. Um, things do get a little bit more hot and heavy all the way through the end of that chapter.
No, you have to mention the funny bits where it's like the light of Gondor has
Yes,
been lit.
they do make some like nice jokes there. Of course, is when the embarrassment meter goes off, the exaggeration of just a shooting light coming out of the top of the building, and you see, for unknown reasons, people are just cosplaying in the middle of the street.
No, and then the joke is even better when like her dad is in bed.
Well, yeah, with her mom on
he's
vacation.
He's like, I see the light. Something is wrong. You know,
I sense something's wrong.
I didn't realize this was an actual thing.
Like, oh, he can actually tell that's a physical thing in space.
Is an actual thing. Oh, okay. This isn't just like, no, it's an actual thing. It actually happens. Oh, okay. It's good to know that apparently in this world people have superpowers or something. Too.
Well, superpowers that aren't exactly helpful in the way that you would use them to save individuals. But yeah, dad and mom are on a vacation, but mom quickly convinces dad to let Samara handle her own situation, as well as seducing dad back into bed very quickly, which he obliges with much gusto.
She doesn't seduce. She's like, I'm gonna throw a dart at you.
Well, first it's seduction, and then he throws the dart, which is supposed to be just like, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, my queen. I didn't know you needed me. But yeah. But those end panels though with Charles and Samara.
Yeah, Charles and Samara kiss, guys.
Well, they don't just kiss. They make out. But it's apparently too intense for Samara. And she kind of lets loose a little early.
It's fine.
It is. It's her first time. She doesn't know how to handle this. I mean, we've already known that she's made the comment that she's never actually like touched herself before either, really. So, yeah. It's all right.
It's cute. It's fine.
It's okay. It's all right. So, yeah, full mature opening back on Let's Play, and a nice strong one at that. So I am glad where we are started off on this. And yeah, I'm already ahead on the next 3 chapters. I believe the 4th one just dropped today for Fast Pass, so I know I'm gonna go grab that after I get off of this cast. But how are you liking at least the start for the new season so far?
I mean, I'm glad that like it starts off like exactly where we're at, and like it doesn't like shy around it, so it's fine. Yeah. Always a good time for the strong content that one puts out, as well as how it handles it too. So yeah, I am definitely gonna be looking forward to covering that one, getting more in as it comes out, and hopefully there'll be a nice long amount of chapters before they go on to another season end. But yeah, so if you haven't been aware, definitely letting you know now that's going to be one of our regulars to continue. So hopefully everyone enjoys that one as it happens out. But we'll go ahead, we'll move on to our next one here with the greatest Dark Lady, Mookhyang here. Ark, do you remember where we dropped off here? War has started. War has started, but no, I don't think war hasn't actually began. We are still in stage planning. Yeah, we're right at the beginning of it. They know they're going to war.
They know they're going to war. Dark knows that he has been appointed general.
Yep.
For the war, and we know that he will his mercenary group will also be participating in the war, and he is going to be given command of a secret unit for the war.
Yes, which tried to test him out, but he was like, "Oh,
well,
come at me, bros."
Well, before that, he gets back and he has some deals to complete, specifically with the 2 guys, or the 2 mercenaries he picked up. And one of them is that he was going to give one of the mercenaries one of the mechs, and he willingly completes that after doing a very fun, like, exchange program system there of just, you get rid of your mech, disown your mech. Okay, you, I'm gonna disown my mech. All right, you go to him. You go to that guy. But
upgrades. Oh, okay.
And after he gives him the mech, he basically pledges fealty to Dark, and then Dark gets the information that he's going to have this secret unit, and he tells this dude that he's going to need him to be a part of that unit, and that's where he basically turns on him and goes, no, I can't do that because that is the group responsible for destroying my kingdom.
Yes.
So
he's like, oh, okay, it's fine. I got other plans for you.
It's like, fine, I got something better. I need you to train these assholes.
Go beat the shit out of them. What? Oh, okay.
But why? Because you know what death is like.
Yeah. You know what it feels like to be afraid of death. Oh, okay.
So yeah, granted, this is not a like in-depth analysis of like demonic cultivation, but it is one of the steps that does come up a lot when they go over that. And the fact that he's like, yeah, so they all have mana cores now, and their mana veins are partially opened and flowing, but there's like a point that we need to push them beyond in order to like actually get it really functioning.
So we just have to break through the bottleneck. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
And the bottleneck.
The easiest way is to make them face death.
Is to basically nearly kill them. Is to how to do that. So I'm like, oh, so you also read Hunter x Hunter. Oh, how do you get your spiritual veins open? Just punch you in the face really hard. That's all, bro. That's how you force it through.
It's fine. It works.
I mean, we haven't seen the results yet, but we know that it will lead to fruition because nothing about Dark has been wrong. After that is when he gets FaceTime with his new secret unit, and they aren't exactly happy to be commanded by Dark, because I guess they were either told or they believed that they were going to be headed by the other Duke, right? Or the
we don't believe you. You look like a weak woman. And he's like, oh, right. Calling the girl again.
Oh, okay. They didn't kick on the sexism bit that hard. It was just we don't trust you.
That's kind of how like they went though. You understand that? He's like, oh, you don't think so? Oh, okay. Let me prove it to you. Come at me all at once.
No, don't take me one at a time. All at once. I really need the training.
I need a stretch.
It's been a while. So, yeah, his new black squad is basically gonna get those cheeks clapped real quick so that they know their place, and then they'll be all on board to take any command that he puts forward. But yeah, so that's where it's at least ended. That was a week ago now, right? Or 2 weeks? I think a week.
That's not where it ends. It ends with the part where you're behind the chapter.
Am I behind one?
Yeah. So then it has the next part there where Dark then goes out and he meets the dwarf, and the dwarf he's like, hey, the wall's broken. He's like, yeah. The dwarf is like, I can fix it. Oh, you can fix it. Okay, let's see how you can fix it. And then the dwarf fixes it, and then Dark attacks it. He's like, oh, it was able to slightly... I mean, it's not perfect, but it's like, if it's able to withstand Dark's attack just like once, then he's like, oh, this is pretty impressive. Now do the whole castle. What? Yeah, do the whole castle now. I ain't going to do the whole castle. And then Dark's dad is there. He's like, oh, I forgot. Yeah, I'll do it. Fuck Dark.
Okay.
Fuck his dad.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
He gets that comment about his dad.
Yeah, because he's like Dark's dad is still there.
Well,
like,
yeah. Well, he got led away with cookies. Remember?
Yeah. And then we have it where this part here is where like they have gone out to war. They go out and basically introduce their group to the others, to the side they joined.
Okay.
But then it has it where Dark is pretending to not be Dark, and it's someone else in his group is pretending to be Dark, because Dark is like, I don't want to talk and I don't want to do the politics.
Well, yeah,
You do it for me.
he's basically appointed someone to be more or less head speaker for him because he doesn't like dealing.
No, he's pretending to be Dark, so it's fine.
Yeah, Dark's never like dealing with actual politics or public appearances. He's much more preferred to just there's a fight, cool, I'm on board. That's pretty much as far as he likes to handle things. So not surprised. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check my sources for that. I'm gonna guess it's chapter 111 then, because I only have 110.
112.
Oh, okay, so I am 2 behind. Then they have not updated. I need to pull in a different source. All right, good to know.
So they're basically just going through the logistics of like who's on the other, like who they're facing, and they're like, okay, so what are we gonna do next? And then Dark is reminded of he's like, oh, this guy's a schemer, kind of like someone from so and so from my past life, from the old world.
From the old world. Okay. So yeah, he's doing some recalling of history for himself there. All right. Let me see here if I can. I'll try Isekai scans and see. But yeah. All right. I mean, that's good to know. So we're only up to 112. But yeah, so we actually haven't gotten into the full skirmishes yet. We've just the armies have met. They're doing comparing notes right now. But we're waiting for the actual like beginning of the bouts to start.
Yes.
Okay. So, do we know if do we actually get a plan for what Dark's unit's going to be doing yet, or
they kind of have a plan, but I'm
not really sure.
Yeah,
it hasn't truly been completely put out there yet. All right.
Well, I think they're in the middle of like still talking amongst each other.
Okay, so they're still in the middle of strategizing. All right, so we'll eventually get back, or well, faux Dark will talk to real Dark to tell him what the actual plan is, and they'll go from there. All right. Dad is still going to be in the castle though, right? Dad, I think they made a comment about Dad participating in the war, but I think he told him no, right?
No, he's just following Dark around. He's there.
Oh, okay, so he's actually like he followed him to the conference.
Yeah. He's just kind of like, I'm just going to like watch.
I'm just gonna watch my son do his thing. I know he's not gonna be hurt. I don't care. All right. So I guess Dad's just gonna be a stick around character for a little bit, since he's so worried about his son. All right. Anything though else on those couple chapters though that you wanted to bring up? Anything else that may go? All right, no problem. No problem. All right, we'll move on here to our next one with the highs and lower Olympus. Actually, more or less the lows, really. I'm trying to remember where we dropped off on the last one here.
The last bit was.
I know it wasn't.
Persephone had just finished her therapy.
Okay, yeah.
And then she is in the car with Hades when she confronts Hades about Hera.
Yep.
And then they stop in the rain in the car, and then
Hades basically basically explain?
Yeah, Hades is like, hey, we can talk about this if you really want to, but can we get home first? So go home.
So I don't crash the car.
Yeah. So Hades opens up, and he's like, all right, so yeah, me and Hera kind of like used to be a thing. And this is like, let me give you the lowdown of like why Hera is the golden traitor, because she was the one who.
She's the one that is supposed to. She's the one that basically.
There was like, oh hey, if you think it was hard to like find another god or goddess to fuck nowadays, back then there was like half a dozen of us.
Yeah, there were like 12 of us, and so your options were very limited.
Half a dozen new gods, and then the other half were like titans. Do you understand this? And we were like, there's only like 2 girls, and it was Hera and Persephone's mom, basically, right?
Hera and Demeter.
Yeah, Hera and Demeter, and everyone wanted to get a bit of Hera, even our dad, because that's not weird, but sure.
These are the gods we're talking about.
So then, okay, so this part here, I'll discuss this afterwards. So then we found out that Hera's the one who poisoned Cronus so they can defeat Cronus.
More or less, yeah.
And then upon doing so, Zeus, seeing that Hera and Hades were kind of like being able to like connect, Zeus just took the initiative and like, hey Hades, how come you
want to be a king, right?
You go to the underworld with Dad. What? Yeah, you go down there. Okay, that's gonna be your job now. He's like, but
you want to be a king, don't you?
You know, like make something out of yourself. And then Hades like, oh hey Hera, I'm gonna go be king of the underworld. You want to be my queen? And Hera's like, but I'm gonna be the queen of the gods. So you know, like career first. So that's what happened.
Yeah, more or less.
And then you know, even though that happened, you know, then Hades went down to the underworld, and there he was like, man, I'm just dragging my dad along, but like no one wants to help me because I'm not actually.
Well, I mean, yeah, he got there and he wasn't actually a king. It just being a part of the squad that beat Dad doesn't make you automatically, you know, leader of everything.
Yeah. So, but you know, in Tartarus, that's where he meets up with Erebos, and Erebos is like the god of chaos, the titan of chaos. The
Erebos is not a titan, I don't believe. Because Eros supposedly exists way before the Titans even were a thing.
Erebos is like just a primordial being.
It's the primordial, like the being, well, the being before other beings, more or less than anything. And
so Erebos is like, hey, you want to be king? Give you the power to be king. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. It's like, what's the catch? Don't worry. You just have to give something up. He's like, oh, sure, I'll give you something. Cool, that's great. Eat this fruit from me. This, you know,
this pomegranate.
This pomegranate. Don't worry. What am I going to give up? No, don't worry. Oh, okay. He eats it. He wakes up. He finds, and then that's where he meets up with
Hector.
What?
Hecate. He meets up with her.
Hecate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, hey, you're a new king now. He's like, oh, really?
I'm glad like that actually like worked that way too. Like just instantly everybody recognized him as king.
They're like, she's like, yeah, you're king now. He's like, oh, I am. Where's Dad? It's like, oh, I gave him a puzzle. Don't worry. Cronus is there fiddling with like this, like finger puzzle, and he's like, whatever.
Okay. So, do you like how the king Kronos is portrayed in these two spots? Like the first time we see him after like Persephone's like vine comes down and he's like nothing but a skeleton and he's got like a black crown on his head. Yeah. In that spot, and then in the next one, he's just like he just has a giant chain and he's just dragging his dad along.
Yeah, it's because this is the part where like, you know, like Kronos hasn't been locked up yet, so he hasn't like basically just been forgotten by the world. That's the best way to say it. Yeah.
I mean, I guess, but like he's not fighting back or anything. He's just like, oh, okay, whatever.
I mean, you know, because he explained, he's like, yeah, Dad, like
he's weakened right now.
We beat him to the point where he's so weak that like, you know, I can take care of him with a single finger, basically. Yeah. I can drag him along here with a chain.
Yeah.
Where my dad is like 10 times taller than me. You understand this, right? But
he is a freaking titan. The name says it all.
So he's like, oh, okay. And then, you know, after telling the story to Persephone, Persephone's like, you know, they see the
not only tell him, he takes him to the area where it's at.
Tartarus, they see the fruit, and then she's like, wait, does that always have fruit? He's like, no, that was just like not so long ago that like there was fruit. And she goes, all right, so what did you give up? And he goes, now don't be mad. Don't think it's weird or anything, but I can't leave the underworld for long. Yeah, I know that. And I can't have kids.
I can't have children.
Like, oh, okay.
Which instantly seems to kill off that other prophecy thing.
What other prophecy thing?
The whole thing about the fertility god and the children.
I don't want to ruin that. Okay, so then,
just a theory, thought.
So then they talk about the fruit a bit, and then Persephone's like,
hypothetical.
Hey, if someone eats that fruit, what happens? Do you guys like fight for like territory, or like what like what
Do
happens?
they instantly get to
like,
overthrow you?
Like he's like, I really don't know. Like this situation hasn't happened before, so
Yeah, this has never come up.
So if I marry you, then like do people respect me? And
Do
she
I
goes,
suddenly become queen level status? You know, do I gain like control of the people and stuff?
He's like, you have the title, but you have no power to do anything. And she goes, okay, I got it. So then that's kind of where it leaves off, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It leaves off basically with them like discussing it at the house.
Yeah. The significant parts here is that, what do you think happened to the pomegranate?
Like, what do you mean? Like the new one that sprouted?
No, it is really important to see that whenever we saw the tree, the pomegranate was there, right?
No, the few times, the beginning time it wasn't there, and then the other time when he was speaking on it, it wasn't there. It wasn't until he ate it before he ate it, it appeared, and then after that.
Well, no. But when he's talking to Persephone, the pomegranate is there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But did you notice that there's a very important and it's important because it's important to know because there's two panels of it. When Hades and Persephone are leaving Tartarus and they're leaving the tree behind, there's no fruit.
When they like walk away from the tree, the pomegranate disappears.
The pomegranate is not there, and you know it's important enough because the two panels where this is at, where they're leaving, it has it where first the panel is focused on Hades and Persephone, and the tree is kind of like fuzzy, so it's out of focus. Yeah. But then the next panel is like the tree is in focus, and Hades and Persephone are walking out, right? But the fruit is gone, and then it is only after that that Persephone starts talking and questioning about what happens if you eat it, right?
I see.
Yes.
Let's see, because there's the because I remember the panel of them coming in and the pomegranate's already there.
Yes, but the pomegranate is not there when they leave.
Yes, it's gone.
Yes, and like if you could probably just miss it if it was just one panel and like oh okay, but they left, right?
It's two panels back to back.
It is two panels, and it is two distinct different panels. So that it makes a point that there is no longer fruit on the tree.
Yes.
Yes. All right. What else do we have to talk about? Oh, okay. So I have a bit of a problem with the mythos here, where they talk about how Kronos is the god of time, but that's a weird mishap as to like
his abilities, or
okay. So Kronos isn't because there's two Kronoses. Mm-hmm. But then this myth here the story here has both of them kind of like mixed up.
Yeah, combined in one.
Yeah. So there is Kronos, which is the father of the gods, but he's not a time god. But then there's also
Kronos,
like Kronos, right? Mm-hmm. Who is the god of time. But here he's like combined into one.
Yeah.
So, and I understand that there are bits and like later on in like weird
legends and retellings that actually has them as the same person.
As the same because the name is so similar.
Yeah.
But they are supposed to be two different entities. Mm-hmm. But okay. I was just kind of like weirded out where I was like, so he had time powers, but like he didn't effectively use them or something. I'm kind of confused here. I know
think
that they were
going
poisoning him already.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you had time powers, you would know.
I mean, there's nothing to say that the time powers work in a manner that are like that. Like, I have time powers, but it doesn't mean I can see the future. You know, it's not, they don't exactly give a deep explanation as to what those time abilities are 100%. It's the same idea with, like, Odin's eye, you know, Like, I can do this and I gain instant wisdom and I should know everything that's going to occur and I can prevent it. And it's like, even with it, it still doesn't give you exact, perfect, future.
Odin doesn't prevent it. Man, if you read the stories, Odin doesn't prevent it. Odin causes it.
Well, yes, but he did it so that he could. You figure the stories, he did it so he could learn and try and stop that. But the idea is like, oh, I know it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna end up doing it even more so.
He causes it to happen. Okay, fine. We're not going to talk about. I'm not talking.
We're not going to go that far. Yeah, we're not going to do that argument. But still, we just going in and the idea is like, oh, if he had time powers, he should be able to prevent all these things. Not. I don't think we're going to that level of history mythos in this story.
And that's where we're at the end of the story here. Yeah.
Yes. We ended off here with a selfie. Well, I actually wanted to bring that up very specifically. A selfie with both Hades and Persephone that she sends to Eros, and in the selfie, her eyes are blood red.
Yes.
So I only remember that happening a few times in so far all of the story, and that's usually when she's in a pretty much emotionally raged state, not like excited. So I'm not sure if that means something either, or if that's to also point to the thing that you brought up with pomegranate there, pomegranate gone.
Yes, I thought the same thing too. I was like, did she sneak pomegranate? Because I feel like you don't raise these questions unless you were going to do something with that pomegranate.
The fact that now you bring that up and the fact that she raises all those questions makes me wonder if she's already done that deed and she's just trying to like, so, what can I expect from doing what I just did?
It's
kind of thing.
Poisonous, right? I'm not going to die, right? No.
Also, if that part is true, it's very unusual for her as well, just because of how her character has been portrayed. Like, for her to do that is very awkward.
I mean, it definitely seems like if she did it out like being desperate. So we'll see how it goes.
We'd have to see how that would go. Yeah. We'd have to see how that would entirely play out all the way through. But I mean, that's something I would expect from more like a Loki like or an Anansi like character to do. Like, hey, I'm going to show you this thing that's super powerful and important to me. Really? That's amazing. What can you tell me about it? As I've already somehow put it in my pocket. Yeah. So we'll have to see. I got to read a few of the. I got to grab some more chapters ahead and see if maybe that theory did come to fruition. They're like, that's a different take on the mythos part, if that's true. But the fact that he told them that, oh yeah, in order to gain this ability or these powers, I had to give up some stuff, and that kind of is very telling from what the mythos is. Like, oh, if you just did this, well, okay, I understand now why this happened this way, but we'll have to see. Anything else though on those last chapters, especially with Eros apparently being given a task to.
Eros is told by Aphrodite and his girlfriend, who he does not realize that is his girlfriend.
Yes.
That they have a job on Earth, so
a job specifically, which is usually unusual since we haven't gotten too many like chapters of seeing the gods like do their god duties very often.
No, I think Eros is the only one we actually get to see do their god duties.
I don't think I've seen a chapter of him like actually like arrowing anybody for love. Like, I've seen him use the arrows in target practice, and then him talk and use talking his history out and viewing them, but like I don't think I remember a chapter of him like actually just going out and doing it.
I don't know, I feel like at this point he's the only one who feels like he does do his own job. He does his job.
I mean, hey,
besides Ares,
right? I was gonna say we see Helios running, what's his name, across the sky. What are you talking about? Yeah, Apollo or Hermes.
Yeah, I guess
driving them across the sky. They're doing their jobs. Come on, it's all good. All right. All right, let's move on.
One important thing.
What's the
I
one?
forgot
more?
the part that we forgot to mention that that Hades definitely admits that he and Hera was like, yeah, we were committing adultery behind everyone's back.
Oh yeah.
And
Like,
everyone kind of knew. It was like everyone's secret. Like it was like the open secret. Like yeah, we fucked, even though Hera was Zeus.
Was married to Zeus, but it's like, who cares? He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
No one's gonna fault anybody for this.
We also find out that like basically Zeus and Poseidon's like, hey, this is our like weekend brunch thing. Is like Zeus's promise to Hades that he's like, yeah, we'll visit, right? That's his promise, right? That's really what that is.
That's really what that is. It's him keeping that promise.
Yeah, like that. He's like, yeah, I took the woman that you loved then, and I'm gonna give you breakfast. That's how this works, right?
It's an fair exchange, isn't it? You like breakfast. I like breakfast.
So yes, we know that Zeus is more of a shitbag now. Even though
we already knew, but now we have more details of his shitbaggery. All right. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. We'll move on to our next one since we finished everything for those chapters with Lord Olympus. We'll move on here over to Peerless Dad, which did start back up during that little break. I believe we have 7 chapters that came out so far.
There are a lot of chapters.
There were a lot of chapters, and I'm happy for them because some shit definitely went down.
We left off where they were fighting over the pill.
Yes, we left off where, well, no, they had already completed fighting over the pill. But Pops was injured fairly badly, and they were in the middle of trying.
You know what? Just feed him one of them. What? Just give it to him.
Just give him. Well, he was already promised one, so he was already supposed to gain one, and he just the one lady just goes, give him the pill. It's the only way to save his life right now. There's no other possible chance. So he ends up taking one of basically the super ginseng pills, the life pill that will extend his life for what is it, like 100 years or something crazy?
We don't know.
The myth is for that, but yeah, the supposed thing that will extend his life. So Pops gets the pill.
It fixes him.
What's up?
It's like a senzu bean.
Yes. Well, not entirely. But it does help.
Bean on crack.
The sense of being on crack. So it does help. Pops gets better. He does do some partial training with her as well, so that now he's no longer angered by her presence anymore, and she's not as afraid of him because of their two opposing sides.
She used that she used her ability, which is like the wood attribute, like it contributes energy, or like basically like that's how it worked. Like
yeah.
So like she passed on her energy, and he was like, oh, I realized there's something to this.
Yeah, she basically does some energy transfer between the two combatants and basically gives him an upper hand to be able to win. But because doing that basically turned his whole body into a power source that could not handle it, and he basically shot blood out of every orifice and created a few new ones because of that. Yeah, but Pops got healed. He did manage to send her off on whatever remaining journey she needed to go on, and continued on and finally made it to the temple that he needed to get to.
Yeah, so he apparently the place that he needed to go to was the Shaolin Temple. So
yes.
You know, it was like like he shows up, and then I was like, oh, Alexa, play A Man Must Have Determination by George.
Oh my god.
Because that's literally what that was. It was like, oh, guys, we're gonna have a fight training montage. And then while that's happening, then we have the part where
we get back home, and we see a man like weeping over a grave. Well, more or less not a grave, but a marker for a grave, and it's specifically for his son. And then we see another guy and his kid appear, and it's one of the kids that Noah is saved.
You know that kid that saw our dad here kill another kid, because that kid was definitely going to die anyways.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this kid had it's like you guys, we just waited until this one moment where it's like, oh, I want to tell you, hey dad, I want to tell you that I saw that man who saved me kill another kid. What? Do you know the entire story? No, I don't.
No, I don't. But okay, let's go talk to this other dad with the unfiltered and verified story that you're gonna say. Yeah.
Hey, I heard that the man who saved all the kids killed your kid. What? Fuck him. Like, we gotta kill him now because he's a murderer. Man, wow, this is all out of context. Okay, great. And then it's just used politically because apparently there were circles inside who was like, man, we really hate that. We hate dad's kids. So
that brought back in that other group, or that brought back in the parents of the kids that his kids beat up.
Yes.
Because they've managed to make their own set of enemies. So now that's flown around to them, and now they're using that as rumor and leverage to try and besmirch his name, while at the same time knowing that some of the masters are currently at the age and point that they're starting to retire. So the new wave of new masters is coming in, and they're going to try and use that to gain political standing, or at least the highest level that they can in the Heavenly Circle.
Yes.
So now we're at the point of the kids' actions are now being used as political points in the adults' game.
Yes.
Oh shit.
And then we cut to the uncle, what's his name?
Ak.
Uncle Ak. Right? And Uncle Ak and their crew is like, oh shit, we're kind of in trouble here because we're in a third party position where literally because we're not sided with the good guys.
We're not sided with the good guys or the bad guys. And yet we're playing the underground game.
We have no allies.
Yeah,
so
and our resources are dwindling. So
then while that's happening, they kind of have like attack some guys on the bridge, but then it doesn't. And then we cut to now the two twins. Yep. The bros are training with the two old men.
The two demon twins. Yes.
The two demon twins. They show up and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go trade again." And then they go trade, and then when they do, they're like, "Oh shit, who is that guy? Who is that old man?
Who is that old man over there?"
The old man's like, "All right, you guys don't remember me? No, oh, you don't remember me here. Let me do it this way.
Let me real quick.
Let me just bulk up really quick. Let me just Master Roshi this real quick."
Yes.
And they're like, "Oh, we remember you. Yeah. Just all right. I'm gonna let you guys continue doing what you're doing here, because I don't think you guys actually have any bad intentions.
Don't have any bad intentions, but do not train them in the manner of your methodology, because they will go through the same bullshit you do if you teach them that."
Yeah. Do you really want them to go through that? Well, no. But they're so good at it. Look at them.
But look at them. They're twins.
No, you stop that. You stop that now. You can only do this much. Fine. And then after their training session with the two kids, they try to leave, but upon doing so, they meet the heavenly sword.
The flying dragon.
Yeah, the flying dragon.
The flying dragon makes an appearance again. After all this time and supposedly having been retired, she shows up.
She shows up because she's like, something suspicious, and then she sees them and she's like, "Hey, I know you two."
Who are those two? I know those two, don't I?
"Hey, you're on the bad side." And they're like, please, we're just trying to leave. We haven't done anything. No, I gotta fight now.
I saw you with my disciples and students. What are you doing to them? "No, it's a misunderstanding. Nothing. It's all right. We brought them candy. We're gonna leave now." "No, we must fight to figure this out." Yes, and then
No
the battle
way.
quickly ensues.
No way. They have a fight, and then the old man shows up, and he's like, "Hey,
Hey.
stop it! Oh,
None of that
Oh.
here. None of that here right now.
but you're the bad guy. No, you stop that. You stop that. Okay." You said that you were retired, so like if you fight them, you know what that means. You come out. Do you really want to? Do you really want to like
come back in?
John Wick this? You want to John Wick this? I really don't want to John Wick this. Then don't John Wick this. Fine. I guess I won't go back in that world.
No one likes a John Wick. You know, the last person.
That was right.
Yes, it
You really
basically
wanna do
was.
this?
It basically was. You took the option to clean your hands of this. This is something that you've worked towards. Once you do it, you're done. You don't have to be in it. And now you're trying to put yourself back in. No. That's just.
Is it really worth it?
It's just just
No.
kiboshing all the June. The old men that just full of wisdom and muscles, lots and lots of muscles. Yeah.
And then we end on the kids talking amongst themselves, and the
sister.
Yeah, the sister's like, you know what? Just ignore everyone. What? Yeah. We just have to get to the point where we have so much political power behind us and so much power behind us that no one can say shit anymore. You know what? That sounds like a plan, but what if they say shit about Dad? It's fine. Just keep burying it,
Yeah,
because one day we'll take care of it.
Yeah, it's just, what did you do? Why the fuck did you do that? All right, the plan is shut your mouths. Shut your mouths for what it is now. We will all eventually become adults. And when we do, we will all have the power we need to make all those other people shut up. I like that she is such a demon on the long game, but she's probably more powerful than both the twins with the abilities that she's being learned, especially for the fact that she's been told and she's been trained and told that she is to not fight with these abilities.
She's much more. I mean, she's better well trained.
She is better well trained.
She's training in one thing, but the sons are like training in like 4 different things at the same time. So, you know.
Yes. So yeah, her playing the long game is already showing which is funny because that's exactly what all of the adults were saying too. They're like, no, this is how we're gonna handle this by doing this tactic of getting ourselves into power. And she's like, no, we're gonna do the same thing by just waiting for ourselves to grow up, and we'll take that power. We just need to endure the torment parts. We'll get there. Yeah, so that's at least what's happening back at home. We know that Pop's back at the Shaolin Temple is more than ecstatic. Well, actually, before that, we get a flash of what's her name? Pop's crush that he doesn't know. His love interest that he doesn't know is finally being pushed into having to be arranged marriage. And back at the Shaolin Temple, some travelers appear, and it happens to be the person that is going to be her new husband is at the temple. And at first I thought it was supposed to be somebody else that he knew, because he made a comment that made it seem like he knew who the person was.
Oh, he is, because he does know who that is, because they it was during the date, and he crashed he tried to crash the date.
Okay. So
it's the same guy, because it's like her cousin or whatever it is.
Yeah, it
right?
is. It's her cousin. It's literally cousin. Okay, so that's where that was from. Okay, yeah. So of course he wasn't paying attention too much, but like you said, we got into that Shaolin. It turned into a fight montage. Basically, Dad getting to go spar one-on-one with a bunch of other guys who are all muscle. And trained by basically beating the crap out of each other, which is pretty much his training regimen.
Yes.
Now the one thing is that we know that he said he's been at the temple for at least 2 months, though, by the time that we got to this point.
Yes, by the time him and the cousin kid, who definitely is super lazy, start talking about it, it's been about 2 months, a little bit more than that.
A little bit more than that by the time they start talking. When the son shows up, it had been at least 2 months at the first point. So I don't know how much longer he has, but you do know that he has made the comment. He's like, yeah, I miss my kids. I need to go back home. And shit's starting to get a little bit more real back at home. Not only with the kids being stuck in this new pawn game, and also Ak, whose forces are just getting pretty much depleted and overwhelmed because the underground has now sent their leader after them to take them out because they've basically just been screwing up their plans left and right.
Yes.
So, at least now, even with Ak, if Ak goes down, the kids still have like a protective support system with all the masters watching them, and even more so now that the old man is now specifically watching the twin sons as well.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part, yeah. And the Flying Dragon is now apparently using her retirement time to now watch them as well, as it seems. So they've at least got enough babysitters, which is good. But yeah, so with that at least going where that is. So what do we have any predictions now, at least going forward? Do we see now helping what's his name? Because he said that he wanted him to help him get out of the Shaolin Temple, and he would get that if he manages to, he said he had to beat somebody or he had to become as strong as one of the Shaolin monks.
Who, the dad?
No, the lazy cousin.
I don't know. I don't remember. I think he just has like prove his worth or something.
He had to beat somebody or had to do something. He said he could get out because he was ecstatic.
I think he has to like learn a technique or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. So
it's fine. I don't care because I don't believe he will. It's insignificant.
It is. But now we've got these multiple bits of story with, not only the kids in their political game, but the fact that we now learn, the family that she's a part of, that she's a part of a very rich family and a very well-known one at that. And now she's got to basically put a plan together faster if she doesn't want to have to marry her cousin. So,
like her dad said, it's not because like he doesn't want her to marry like who she wants. It's because the dad has no political power.
Well, he has no political aspiration.
Yeah, he has no political power. He's just he's a fucking grunt. Okay,
yeah, he's a grunt, but he's a grunt who's basically slowly gaining political power without actually doing any politics. Because more people are bringing him up in those circles and seeing him as a threat.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm kind of wondering when is the Apex going to cross up here that, either because he's still trying to train so he can get his own abilities under control. We also have the one guy who's trying to destroy the world of Miram, who's also got him at least somewhat in his sights.
And then we also have the plot of
the Heavenly Demon sect is out there too.
Yeah,
doing their thing in the background, and they're trying to.
They were looking for the book that Dad's friend who gave him the pill has. Yeah. And then realized who it was, and they were like, you know what? Just leave it alone. What?
Yeah, don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it because it's another trap. What? Yeah. Right? That's literally what she says. She's like, don't worry about it. Just let him hold on to it because it's another trap.
Yeah, it's very clearly meant to be a thing to pull us out of hiding.
Yeah. And then I think she does actually talk about Dad, right? Because she's like, I wonder how that child is doing.
Yeah, and she brings up that child. Yeah.
And then we have another plot where the son of the nanny who takes care of the kids.
Yep.
He likes the daughter, and he's like, well, he has a crush on her.
He has somewhat of a crush on her.
Yeah. He's like, oh man, she's real strong. I like that.
Well, actually, he brings up, he's like, why are you so weak?
Yeah, but like, he means like she's smart, right? He's like,
she explains it's like, yeah, I'm weaker than you only because all you two and my meathead brothers focus on is muscle training.
Yeah.
But because I'm smarter than you, I can still beat you in a fight at any time.
Yeah.
And she quickly proves that. So, yeah. But, yeah, I do like that we are getting another kid in the mix here, too. Instead of it just being the three of them. But I'm also wondering if that, now that that dad has appeared, I'm wondering if that death flag is being raised for this kid.
I hope not.
Because it feels like that dad's gonna do something real bad.
To him, no, I don't think he wouldn't. It'd be more like the kid gets caught in the crossfire.
Well, that's what I
between,
mean. Like he wants to do something to one of the other kids, like, you know, eye for an eye, and then that kid gets caught in the middle of it because of it.
Oh yeah, the one that's the dad that's going to take revenge. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I'm sure I'm sure the other disciples that they have a fight with are by far going to do something stupid, because they already seem like they want to do something dumb. But yeah, now just adding on this emotional parent who is now basically politically trying to destroy Royer now, even when he's not there, it just seems like it's an easy teeter to just like have him do something dumb and end up killing one of the kids. So
yeah,
and it just seems so weird because this other kid just started becoming more of a character, and now he also likes the sister. I'm like, this feels like a setup for that thing. Just saying. But we'll leave full theories out for a little bit here and wait till the next chapter, which I think will drop. No, we already got the new chapter today, so we won't get the next one until next week. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, we never know. There might be a secret drop. So
we'll see.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll go ahead here to our last one of the evening after all of this, ending on a strong one since we haven't talked about it in a while, but it is Solo Leveling. We all know already, especially where we dropped off at. Giant portal above, what is it, Seoul right now, correct?
Seoul, yeah.
Seoul, yeah. Giant portal above Seoul, basically citywide, has not broken, but no one can cross into it. Even Jinwoo, he is unable to push through. So basically they're just playing the long wait game to figure out what could potentially come out of that. Jin, for some reason, decides to have a vacation day in the middle of all of this and takes what's her name? Is it Huya?
Takes the waifu on a date.
Takes the waifu on a date. But,
and then he's really far away now.
Well, he's really far away, but during that date, the other hunter guilds are starting to basically amass and evacuate the city because some activity does happen, but more specifically, one of the monarchs shows up and starts just ravaging the fucking city. They do start to mobilize, but shit doesn't quite go out the way that it was, and quite a few guilds go under before Thomas Andre steps in. And now, granted, we know that Andre is one of the strongest characters, strongest people that they have in their world, but so far, all the other monarchs that have come up, or all the other national levels that have come up against monarchs, have thoroughly been fucked. So you can already pretty much guess exactly what we're going to expect out of this fight. But Andre is, of course, going in as a warrior, doesn't care, fight to the death as it is. But the Beast Monarch is exactly as his title plays out to, and just fucks Andre all the way over. Just not even a competition there. Andre, hangs with the best.
No, that's not true. It looked like Andre had a chance.
Okay. I'm saying it isn't the idea of the story. Andre looked like he was going to take the gold for that, but the Beast Monarch was clearly playing.
And suplex. He's like, I got this, guys. And then he's like, oh, I haven't even transformed yet. He's like, what?
That's so fun. I'm glad that you're able to do these things. Yeah.
You're pretty good for a human. I know you got the power of the light in you, but you're pretty good for a human. Let me just take it up a notch. It's like, oh.
Let me turn the dial to 2. Are you ready for my second transformation? Second? What? I like the first one. It was good. Yeah. So the fight gets turned up a bit. Very particularly though, Jinwoo is not aware of this happening though during the entire time, and they actually have to ring him.
Yeah, his shadow is there with them.
It is there, but it's not able to communicate with him. And he's called and told that this shit's going down, and then he tries to communicate or even shadow exchange with any of his aunts back home. He's unable to. So we basically get the race against the clock moment here. Well, Andre is beating him down, but then slowly the tables start changing over, and Andre starts taking the pounding pretty difficultly. And as always, right before the final blow is struck, to both Andre and a would-be hunter that tried to stand up to protect him, Jinwoo does make his sudden appearance in. But that's right after at least 3 other monarchs show up, or two other monarchs show up.
It's 3 monarchs. It's the Beast Monarch.
Beast Monarch, Ice Monarch, and it's also the Plague Monarch.
Yeah, the insect monarch.
He's the insect monarch, but the plague. They call her the Plague Monarch. So there are 3 monarchs there, but 2 more show up after with the Beast King being there. So now it's 3-on-1, and the gate still supposedly hasn't broken open. This is just a fight because of fight at this moment. Jin is basically preparing to get started. He opens up with basically bringing out his army, and they are instantly all frozen by the Ice Monarch. And this seems pretty effective because he can't recall them, and they're stuck there, so they're not being destroyed in any way to be freed. So they do at least make the comment really quickly, though, that the Shadow Monarch is the strongest of all the monarchs, and also they're surprised that the Beast Monarch makes a comment that he's surprised that he's able to use or he's absorbed this much of the monarch's power. And then he makes a comment that the administrator must have made this deal.
Yeah, like the previous Shadow Monarch and the administrator must have done something.
Must have done something. But we know that the administrator, at least when he talked to him, was not helping Jinwoo at all.
Well, yeah, because the
administrator was very surprised at what Jinwoo was able to do, and then when he basically broke the program, or at least broke the software and how it's supposed to work for him,
it definitely feels like the Shadow Monarch and the administrator did something to like backstab everyone behind everyone's backs, or like did something to like that was like, oh, against the rules, right?
Yeah.
And then the Shadow Monarch was like, oh, administrator, I'm gonna backstab you. I have a different set of plans.
It's like, oh yeah, this whole thing where I'm supposed to take over this body? No, we're just gonna share hearts, and I'm gonna share mana pools with him. That's what we're gonna do. So you're about to get screwed. Yeah. So Jin is, at least the other monarchs are not entirely aware of what's at least occurred for the at least with the administrator, but they are prepared to take him on because they at least know that's like, hey, you may be the strongest, but that doesn't mean you get to look down on any of us. And Jin basically makes the comment of like, okay, well, if I'm gonna die, you're gonna at least die with me. So I'm gonna go down swinging. It doesn't matter how it goes down. But the question I have is how strong is Jin without his shadows against 3 monarchs?
We'll find out. Because he's like, at least one of you is going to die.
Well, at least one of you is going to die. But still. Yeah, I can't say for power levels here because it's all over the board. Because National basically meant nothing after not even that far into the chapters. National was basically, the dirt level for Jin. And the Shadow Monarchs and the other monarchs have basically proven that, yeah, the humans were never going to stand a chance against us, even with this light that they're supposedly waiting for, or that is in each of them for these national ranked heroes. It doesn't really mean much. If anything, it puts a target on them because it basically tells them exactly where they are and who they need to attack. But yeah, we still have some other nationals that haven't shown up. So do we see at least the one that made the comment about going after his dad making an appearance? Not to mention his dad still being out there as well. Watching all of this go down. I mean, that's the point of theory and speculation with what we got. What's up?
I need to read ahead on this one. I have no idea.
You have no idea? Okay. Okay. Well, here's one, at least that we've always wanted to know. So do we see Jin actually being able to win this fight in any way?
I mean, he's the main character.
He is the main character, but that doesn't mean he can't, like, get slapped back at this point. Because he just may not be prepared to face all three of them at once. At least not with not without assistance.
I don't know.
No dry on that one. All right. Well, we'll have to see. I'm definitely going to probably pop on another cast at some point to talk when the next chapter drops for that. So I'll keep my comments for that when that happens. But that at least does bring us to the end of the review part for this week. So glad we got through all of that. But I did want to bring up here that we are going to actually be picking up some new series going forward, since we have a few other ones still on that just went into hiatus and are still on, with Legendary Moonlight Sculptor somewhere in the ether, and Descent of the Demonic Master just recently going on hiatus. We are going to pick up a few other series here right now. We're going to go with Skeleton That Couldn't Protect the Dungeon, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, because that one's been popping off pretty good, and I actually have enjoyed that series since it started. And another one suggested by Ark, The Princess is Evil. If you're interested in any of those, definitely go check them out. What's up?
We'll see. I want Sleepy here to read a couple bit first.
We'll see. We'll see. If
the last thought is, well, it's move. It's We're definitely doing Skeleton. We're definitely doing Omniscient. The last one is meh. It depends.
We'll see. I mean, I'm always open to something new. I like new stuff.
Okay, so
we wanted to have another cute one besides Inso's Law, and the one we were gonna pick up literally just finished. So we'll see. There's other cute ones out there. I mean,
you were going to do Down to Earth. I was not expecting the season to be done, and I was like, oh,
the season that was I thought that was series finale.
That's not series finale. That's season.
Okay, I gotta check, but yeah. So we'll get to that one. All right, but with that and everything else, I will definitely close us out here. Thank you everyone for joining us for this new edition of the Project Webtoons. And like I said at the beginning, if you haven't already, please go ahead and click that like button as well as that subscribe bell so you can be notified of any of our new content as it comes out. We definitely got some other things that we want to put up. We got a few new projects that we want to try and get finished up, but keep an eye out for that as always. But I'm going to lay us off here for the last time. And this, of course, your boy Sleepy.
And this is Dark Dragoon.
All right. Everyone out there, take it easy.